Make a motion to approve agenda as submitted.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Approval of consent agenda, January 12th, 2026.
I'll make a motion to approve as submitted.
Support.
Motion support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. DDA report, Amy.
Skip public comments.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Yep. How did I do that? Okay, public comments. Anyone that'd like to come up, have any comments, questions? We're gonna try to limit it to 3 minutes. If you like, you can leave your name, if you like. Let Kelly know. Yes.
Okay, Frank Tartaglia, I live off of Martindale. My comment is regarding the Project Flex contingency planning. I submitted this document to April Talaga last week, and I thought it was going to be on the agenda today, but apparently not. So, very quickly, given the amount of energy that's going to be used by Project Flex, 250 to 500 megawatts initially, and their lithium battery backup systems, I believe that we need to strongly consider implementing an emergency response, a written contingency plan, surrounding financial assurances from both Veris and or Walbridge, but more Veris than anything else. And I understand that there is a concern surrounding potential legal situations. However, if we do this correctly, we essentially have EPA, EGLE, OSHA, NFPA, and UL safety standards that we can adhere to, which will position us in a very positive light. My concern around lithium batteries and its potential for long-term destruction is, this team doesn't understand. Veris, this is their first go at this first rodeo. So I want to make sure that we are positioned as a community to push back any long-term environmental hazards. Like I said, I've submitted this document to April, and she has an electronic version of it. I did suggest that we submit it to the board and other planning members. One of the long-term effects assurances is the generation of financial accountability, where a bond would position Veris in a responsible manner. So given the consumption and the potential risk associated with lithium batteries, and essentially if Veris is no longer in business, they go away for whatever reason, I would suggest that we look at a bond between $75 and $150 million, roughly, to protect our groundwater, protect our environment overall. And my understanding is that Saline they were taken to court. However, they pushed back hard, and they did receive some safety nets in the fact of potential bonds, improving fire hazard response, on-site remote. So that's it. Thank you.
Before we get started, are we being recorded? Is this being recorded or getting tossed in the wind? Getting tossed in the wind. Okay. For yours only. Just in, did you guys sign a non-disclosure agreement? Because in federal legislature right now, they're passing a bill that this can't happen anymore because the people have the right to know. And the bill is going to say you're personally responsible. I'm going to agree with 99.999% of the people here. They don't want it. They don't want the noise, they don't want the smell, and they don't want the view. This project is bigger than the 12 Oaks Mall. The 12 Oaks Mall is 1.5 million square feet, and this is 300,000 square feet bigger. It's ridiculous. what's gonna happen to those in school, when the teachers can't teach and the kids cannot concentrate because of the humming noise? Who will pay to build a new school, 30 to 40 million? Hope it's not gonna be my tax dollars. They say the eye center will be outdated in 3 to 5 years because advanced technology changes so fast. When this happens, who will pay for the cleanup when they walk away? Who's gonna pay for the disposal of these lithium batteries? The taxpayers? So I'm pretty sure none of you live by this monstrosity to be built. I do not want to be another cotton aluminum problem, because I live on Travis Road. Oh yeah, Paul Lavoie, 58180 Travis Road. This project is going to have rows and stacks of lithium batteries, and you can't fight it. Did you know there's 2 ships at the bottom of the ocean been sunk because of lithium fires? They couldn't put them out, and they had all the water in the world, so they sunk them, because lithium burns and gives its own oxygen supply. And right now, Google it, there's another one in the Atlantic right now burning. These ships had 2 things in common: lithium battery fires, which cannot be put out, which creates its own oxygen. Got ahead of myself. So go home, look in the mirror, and ask yourself, would you move next to an AI center? Ask your spouse, would they move next to an AI center? Ask your kids. Ask your neighbors. Ask your mother and father. Because if they brought you up right to know right from wrong, you'd vote no on this project.
Hi, my name is Diane Link, L-E-N-K. I live off of Kent Lake Road in New Hudson. And I did talk at the board meeting last Monday to express my disappointment in the meeting that was held on January 22nd at the South Lyon East High School, and how terribly we were treated by the moderator like toddlers. Couldn't clap, couldn't laugh. I'm here again just to express my concerns because I need to sleep at night knowing that I've tried. Instead of a frank discussion with the community to tell us what's really going on, at that meeting, all we got was cherry-picked questions and an hour-long dissertation from Veris. That's not what we wanted. Also, we would like to know, how the heck was this decision made? We know it was not a transparent process. It was made in secret. They called it Project Flex, which meant nothing to me. I thought of the freeway where they had flex lanes. We have received still very little information. And we don't know if concerns were considered: noise, water, health, home values, electricity, the fire risk from lithium batteries, the risk of locating near a grade school and senior housing. Anything you read about data centers said they shouldn't be near those things. Again, it was not a transparent process. You did not involve the community. I know legally I was told you didn't have to, but there's something called the letter of the law and something called the spirit of the law, and there was no spirit of the law with this disaster. I understand that several studies and issues need to be addressed. We need assurance that when the studies are done, nobody from Veris or anybody involved in planning or whatever, it needs to be objective by somebody who has no interest in the project. And we need to be assured that that will happen. So far, we haven't got assurances on anything. We want to know, when will all those questions be answered? And when they're answered, do we have a chance to question your answers or ask for more clarification? It doesn't seem like we do. Please show respect for our community so that we can trust you. Saying no to this data center right now, it needs a lot more work. And it's going to be obsolete. I agree with him. Everything I've read saying maybe it'll last my lifetime. I'm old, but it's not going to last the kids' lifetime. So here we go again. As far as noise, I have a medical condition where I have buzzing in my ear. I would not wish that on anybody. And if the data centers have that, it's gonna be awful.
Good evening, my name is Larry. As I've stated in past meetings, I have over 45 years of IT experience and served as an incident and problem manager for the second largest manufacturing data center in North America. I've migrated and supported data centers across the globe: Brazil, England, Sweden, India, Singapore, Germany, and Canada. So I understand exactly what it takes to operate a true 24/7, 365 facility. I want to be clear, I'm not against data centers. I'm against placing them in locations that show no regard for surrounding community. Being a retired IT manager, I decided to test the situation objectively. I recently asked AI a simple question. If I were sitting on the Lyon Township Planning Commission with only the information that has been publicly presented so far, would I be able to approve a Project Flex? The answer from AI was straightforward: no. Based on the information provided to the public, Project Flex could not be approved as compliant. That conclusion aligns with what many of us have been saying for months. There's not enough information, not enough transparency, not enough due diligence to justify approving it. This is not a political stance, it's a procedural and legal one. As a planning commissioner's job is to protect the township by ensuring every required study, agency approval, and safety standard is satisfied before a shovel hits the ground. Here's how a commissioner acting strictly within their legal duty would evaluate the situation. Missing or unverified FAA approvals, automatic pause. The project located to an active airport cannot be approved without FAA Form 7460, airspace obstruction, hazard to air navigation, and so on. If these documents were not submitted to the Planning Commission before approval, then the approval was procedurally defective. A commissioner is obligated to table the project until those documents are provided. Fire code, hazardous material, and emergency response gaps. A commissioner must ensure fire suppression systems are adequate. Diesel storage volumes comply with the NFPA. The fire department has equipment and staffing to respond. Evacuation plans complete and on file for the school, assisted living center, residents within a 5-mile radius and possible 10-mile radius worst case. The proximity to a gun shop, school assisted living facility, and residential neighborhoods does not create unacceptable risk. If the fire chief has not provided a written unconditional approval addressing these hazards, the project cannot responsibly be approved. Noise and vibration study. The sound study is inaccurate. You don't get an independent study hired by Veris. By the way, Veris is a small company. It's only been in existence for a couple of years, 33 employees, and they have not had the data center running anywhere in the world. Public safety and land use. The commission has legal authority to table it. Tabling it is not a denial, it's a protective action. A commissioner is obligated to table when the requirements have not been met, and they have not been met in this case.
Hi, my name is Ian. I'm a Lyon Township resident. Last month, many of us came to the high school expecting real answers to real concerns, and instead, specific community questions were softened into safe, generalized talking points. We were told that Project Flex could move forward without a public hearing or board vote because data centers have been an approved use since 1992. In 1992, a large data center might occupy 10,000 square feet. It relied on existing utility connections and delivered less computing power than the phone that you have in your pocket today. They were server rooms supporting individual businesses. What's proposed now is entirely different. The servers are almost secondary. The real footprint is industrial infrastructure, substations, battery fields, cooling systems, transmission upgrades, and non-stop mechanical systems running 24/7. Calling both of these things data centers ignores reality. One was office support, the other is industrial infrastructure on the scale of a small city. And this is where zoning language is being weaponized against the community. Decades-old wording is being used to fast-track a project that, because of its scale and impact, should require special land use review and real public input. That's gamesmanship. We're handed marketing material and told town study. We're told traffic will just use South Hill Road, as if the thousands of truckloads of concrete, equipment, and workers over the course of years will just magically appear there. For the largest construction project in township history, skipping a full traffic study isn't a small oversight, it's a massive one. And then there's the economic risk. Technology changes fast. Markets swing faster. Entire sectors lose trillions in value almost overnight. Just look at last week. Gartner says that we are in the trough of disillusionment with AI. That means that projects will stall, financing will disappear, and communities will be left with giant purpose-built facilities that are nearly impossible to reuse. So my ask is simple. Put a pause on the approvals, schedule an emergency or special meeting to update the zoning ordinance to classify hyperscale data centers separately, to add stricter standards, impose buffering, traffic, noise, and infrastructure controls that align with its heavy industrial reality, and include special land use approval and require public hearings. Approvals are still conditional. The township still has leverage. The real question is whether you have the political will to use it on behalf of the people who actually live here.
Okay, I just want to make sure that, am I good from the mic?
Yes.
You can hear me? So, it's no real secret there's outrage. There's a ton of outrage. And it's not because we don't innately trust you, it's just that we have never heard anything from you. Be it the trustees, the planning commission, whether it's either one, look, this is the defining decision that since I've lived here since 2011, I've never had to come to these meetings before. But this is a really big deal. So the core problem, the way I see it, is I don't know where any of you people stand. Like, I don't know why you think this is such a great idea for the community. I know, yes, by the way, I've looked to see, online, okay, can I find somebody that put an opinion up? You know, this has been going on now for over a month. I thought, well, maybe somebody put on their campaign page or something like that, hey, here's my position, here's why I think this is a good idea. Nothing, no one's saying anything. You can imagine that leads people to think that there's something sinister going on because it's all behind our backs, right? And by the way, yes, I did find a news article where one of you, who I will not name, said that this was a great idea and we're all going to benefit from the tax revenue of this, okay? Be that as it may, yes, that one. Okay, so here's the deal. I would like, not a Q&A where we just pound you with questions. I want a real Socratic dialogue with you guys, where we back and forth, we do this the way a democracy was supposed to be, where we find out where each other stands, we cross-examine each other's positions, and really find out what is best for this community. Because honestly, I work in the tech industry, and I would not move next to an AI data center. Quick little anecdote, just last week, my boss was gonna move to Lyon Township. He found a beautiful house right next door to the Coyote Golf Course. I told him, hey, you know what? There's an AI data center going up right across the way. Guess where he's not moving? I mean, honestly, that is true. That's a true statement. So I'd like to end with this. I'd like to end really with this. Are you prepared to look a mother who has a kindergartner at that school that's a half a mile away? Are you prepared to look her in the eye and say, hey, don't worry about it. Veris told us, and I quote, our technology is safe and effective. Remember that? Well, if somebody's pitching to you guys that their stuff is safe and effective, basically since what we've gone through the last 6 years of COVID, think about that one. So, thank you.
Hello, I'm Nadine Valenzuela. I live in New Hudson, and when I mapped it out, I live less than a mile from where your proposed data center is going to be built. And I'm a mother, and I'm really concerned about my children. I was hoping this would be a community that we would love to live in, and it's been wonderful up until now. And the gentleman before me already commented on what I was going to say, but I just want a second, because I was thinking along the same lines that since 1992, data centers have evolved. That's when this approval for permitting data centers was made in 1992. And you can hardly apply the same zoning now. The modern AI data center needs to be reevaluated in its own right. The zoning that was passed in 92 is for an outdated data center that no longer exists. What we have is something completely different. And I'm asking you to take that into consideration, and please do not allow this data center to be built. Thank you.
My name is Amanda Austin. I'm 28 years old and have spent the last 27 years of my life in Milford Township, right near New Hudson, and I pay Lyon Township utilities. Milford is my home. My parents were drawn to Milford for its charm, its quaintness, open land, and its community. Do you really think any of us moved here for this? I'm pretty sickened at Lyon Township's decision to pursue a data center, especially without allowing its residents and those affected to really vote on the matter. We're all aware of the obvious, and I surely won't explain it to those who already know the price we'll pay. The energy and water consumption, the air and water quality, but what we're not talking about enough is the potential effects it's going to have on our quality of life. My daughter, Gemma, and the children of Lyon and Milford Township are not guinea pigs for AI experiments. She will not be a case study for you to reference in 20 years. Because you decided to build a hyper factory next to her school. How do you plan to protect our metro parks from forever chemicals? Can you guarantee our water and electric bills won't increase? I cannot afford that. What about protecting our property value, especially for the homes we already overpaid on? And lastly, the scientific literature has concluded that forever chemicals like PFAS cause cancer and disrupt our endocrine systems and our reproductive systems. How do you plan to ensure that these chemicals don't disrupt our quality of life and her quality of life? We deserve transparency and respect. We moved here and made Milford home, but we will not hesitate to leave if Project Flex moves a step further. Thank you for your time.
Hi, my name's Tony, and I'm here because I wanted to express some of the things that I've heard from neighbors that lived in this community a long time. There's a ton of people that are here with the rising cost of houses that almost all of their life savings are dumped into their property values. And any type of AI data center that's going to come in, that's going to draw up our utility bills, that's going to dramatically increase the water demand. We've seen in other states that AI data centers have made people have to even drill new wells because of how damaging these things are to the aquifers. These are people that are going to have to move out of Lyon, out of the state of Michigan, because of how much they're set to lose if these projects move forward. And the reality is they're not going to get the value back on their house. What I would like to encourage the board to do today is to do what so many other townships across Michigan have already done, which is to institute a 1-year data center moratorium to make sure that we get this right. Because the reality is, with how fast this is moving, there is no way for us to know every single negative ramification that could happen as a result of these data centers rolling through. I'd also like to encourage everybody here in the crowd. I work for Tom Leonard. He's a candidate for governor, and I'm a big proponent that we can't just say we need to do something, we need to do something. And in the event that this board does not stand with the people of this township and does not institute a moratorium, I have a flyer here that encourages our state representatives, our state senators, to pass a year-long moratorium for the entire state of Michigan. Yeah. So please find me in the back, And I would love to get your signatures on this because this is an issue that truly impacts every single person in this state. And we cannot allow 7 people on a board to overrule the needs of every community in the state. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Barker. I have been living in New Hudson since 2007. I've attended all the meetings in the month of January, and including up until tonight. And a lot of the things really kind of disturbed me about this. When I first heard the name, Project Flex, to me, I thought at best it's disingenuous. I think that whoever was coming up with that agenda should have said, proposed data center, or, and I have a sinking feeling or suspicion that it was because of the perception of negativity that's why it was given the name Project Flex, almost to kind of not have people pay attention. I've attended all the meetings, and I think that the citizens have brought very good arguments, very well thought out, very well composed arguments, both on a personal level and professionally. There's been engineers from Ford, there's been an electrical engineer that spoke, there's been all kinds of parents that have spoke about it. And, I'm not anti-technology, I'm not anti-advancement, but given all of the things that I've heard in the last several meetings, I think that if a vote was taken and it passes to move forward with this, given everything that we've heard in these meetings, I think it's ethically bankrupt to do that. So I hope that you'll do the right thing, because it's the right thing. I know a lot of you live in the township. I do, and we want to have things done. I think that the most basic function of government is to really look after the citizens that they represent. And I think that is also the citizens' health, well-being, mental, physical, emotional. And I think the most compelling arguments of all are the children near the schools. I'm a parent, and I think that it's just really not something that can be moved forward at this point. Maybe in the future with studies and analysis, but at a minimum, I think the moratorium needs to be put in place. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Kelly Sullivan. I live in New Hudson. I'm not here to talk specifically about Project Flex, but I've heard at many meetings that I've attended since word of Project Flex became known to the community at the end of 2025, that people on the Board of Trustees and the Planning Commission have said, it's so nice to see all these people at these meetings. True. Having citizens be involved, be knowledgeable, a good thing. I'm wondering then, why are the lights off in that building back there, that little room back there? The Board of Trustees meeting is recorded and streamed so that parents of little ones who are now getting their dinner, toting their kids back and forth to activities, just driving home from work in the evening, they don't have the chance all the time to be at meetings that always start at 6 o'clock. Every single Planning Commission meeting, Zoning Board of Appeals meeting, DDA meeting, and Board of Trustees meeting should be recorded and put on the Lyon Township YouTube page, so that all of you citizens can become involved in decisions that are made here. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dwayne. I live in the Bowers Hill subdivision. Just want to repeat a couple things that have already been said tonight, including the lady who just spoke. First of all, we do need to hear from you. I agree with that 100%. It's all been one way, and we need to know what you guys are thinking, what your opinions are. It's very important. I also agree that we need to live stream all of our township meetings. We have the capability to do it, and there's really no reason not to. I'm here tonight to represent a friend of mine who couldn't be here. He lives off of South Hill in the Coyote Court area, whose backyard backs right up to the property in question here. He's told me, talked to him this morning, that Walbridge has not been a good neighbor to them. They've often had construction noise going until 10 p.m. at night, past the ordinance time. When he calls the sheriffs, basically says all we can do is impose a fine to them. You know what the fine is for breaking the noise ordinance? $100. $100. This has happened, is this going in and out? This has happened about a dozen times in the last year or so, he said. So just think about a project of this magnitude, the size of 12 Oaks Mall, perhaps, and 6 years or whatever it's going to take. I feel very bad for him and his young family. And I noted today when I drove back there to take a look, they've got 2 houses for sale right next to them that are probably going to stay for sale for a long time. So anyway, I just wanted to pass that along on his behalf, and thank you for listening.
Hello everyone, thanks for giving me this opportunity. My name is Brian, I live in Trailside. What I'd like to bring up is that our zoning is not in alignment. Our zoning is supposed to be in alignment with the master plan, it is not. I would like that to change. There should be an active role when it comes to our advisors, our trustees, and this board in getting it in alignment. I realize there's not a hard trigger. That doesn't mean that it doesn't ever need to be in alignment. The issues that you're having right here, I believe, are all downstream of that. I'm asking you guys to remedy that. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Nancy. I'm a Lyon Township resident of 26 years. When I moved here, I loved living here. It was great. The wilderness, the deer, the turkeys, you know. I've had a really good time. But now that watching you guys are putting all these businesses on my roads, 12 miles. I've just found out recently that the school, Catholic school, is going to be putting in ice arenas and tracks on South Hill by 12 Mile, 149 acres. That's where the turkeys were. That's where all the deer were. If you want me to move, let me know. Come by my house. Oh, it's okay with me. The guy in the corner, he can't sell his house. Imagine why. That in New Hudson, the new project, those houses aren't selling, those apartments, they're not selling. We have to look and see what we're doing to the township. Do people want to come to us? No. What are we going to get? Businesses. Is that what you want? Just businesses? Let us know. We can all move out. It'll be okay with me. Just come by my property. I'll be perfectly happy with that. Please. Care for the township. Look and see what you're doing to our township. It's important to us. We like our township. I came here for the peace and the quiet. Now I'm going to have 2 big old flashlights in the sky. I'm not going to see the stars anymore. Should I stay here? No, I shouldn't. I should move. Should we all do that? Is that what you want? Don't make us do that. Please. Reconsider your decisions. Make Lyon Township a great place to live. That people fight to get in here. And we have a great reputation. As of right now, we don't have it. So please, stop this. Okay? The data center is going to hurt us. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Erica Schott, and I live at 55001 Lee Road, which is at the corner of South Hill and Lee Road. Coca-Cola is literally in my front yard. And this data center is only hundreds of feet away. I can no longer see the stars from my front yard. The light pollution is astounding. I can show you a picture of 12:30 a.m. and my entire bedroom is lit up. I no longer need lights at night because Coca-Cola has done it for me. And this data center is only going to exacerbate that issue. We need stronger protections from these industrial buildings. I'm terrified that a leak in this closed loop system will poison my groundwater. I'm terrified that 24/7 low frequency humming will affect my children's development. I have 2 kindergartners at Dolson Elementary. It is, to me, staying in my home, once this is built, is tantamount to abuse to those children. I cannot picture staying in this township and letting my children be subjected to that abuse. That's
My name is Tom Carter. I live on 12 Mile. I've been watching all of this stuff and trying to figure out how this makes sense. And it doesn't. And so you folks sit there, you don't say anything. And we sit here and we complain and we piss and moan about this and that and everything else for good reason, because I don't think you know what you're doing. And I think the only way we're going to find out what it is you're doing is for somebody to go legal with a class action suit. You have to be brought before a judge. You have to be sworn in. There has to be disclosure, how you came up with what you came up with, because none of this makes sense. Now, I know all these people here would love to testify. They already have. But you got a chance to fix it.
Hi, my name is Colleen Walter. I live at 58902 Winnowing Circle North in the Pinehurst subdivision. If you watched the live stream Board of Trustees meeting, I came up and talked about DTE and the lack of reliability. This is the company that's going to be providing electricity and power to the data center. As a resident of Lyon Township for nearly 12 years, I have not had 1 year go by where I have not had 5 to 10 power outages. Whether they last for an hour or 2 days, myself and my neighbors have had to get generators because we have to run our generators so we don't lose our food and we don't have to get hotel rooms in the middle of summer or in the dead of winter. This company does not provide reliable power to your residents without a data center. And what is our recourse? We have no recourse. When our power goes out for several days, we don't get a refund. We don't get a rebate. Every single time I look this up, that DTE goes in front of the Public Service Commission and asks for a rate hike. 100% of the time, they get their rate hike. They do not have to answer for not providing power to us reliably. There's no recourse for us when our power goes out, we're not provided power. We cannot fight DTE. Now you're going to put in, apparently, a 12-volt small size data center, and DTE is telling you that it's not going to affect our power. You cannot believe this. It's a lie. They're lying to us and they're lying to you. It will affect our power. DTE, the gentleman from DTE sat on the stage and said, the data center will not have priority over the residents. Are you kidding me? You cannot believe this. And what will our recourse be? Is there legal language to protect us when we don't have power? What are you doing to protect us? We can't fight DTE. They win every time. I don't know. I've heard rumblings that some of you don't live in Lyon Township, but if you do, you should be terrified of your rate hikes. They cannot provide consistent, reliable power without a data center. And they're going to upgrade this grid. They're going to build out the existing one or build a new one. Where is this magic technology that will all of a sudden provide nonstop reliable power? Because they haven't given it to us in 12 years. It's just going to be provided for the data center. This data center is going to rape our township of water and energy resources. And you are letting them do it. You have got to stop this. Your constituents, the people in this township, do not want it. Please put a moratorium on it. Do not let this go forward.
My name is Lynn. I live off of Travis Road, which is about a half a mile from the proposed site of the data center. And I want to congratulate you all. I've been to enough meetings over the years where you complained that you didn't have anyone in the audience. And guess what? Here they are. Are you going to do anything with it, or are you just going to laugh? It's really sad to me that all of these people were lured in believing that this was a great place to live, way overpaid for the homes that they have, and now they're worth nothing. The other question I want to ask publicly is the amount of water that the Coca-Cola bottling plant is using. I read that it's 15 to 20 million gallons of water per day, and I'm assuming it's on the same aquifer that the data center will be in. So at what point are we going to say the residents matter, everyone's on wells, and we need to think about them instead of the big money?
Who do we see when our runs get loaded like that?
Hello everyone, my name is Chintan. I live off the New Hudson in the community right in front of us. Most people actually have covered many topics. I'm not going to repeat all this, but there are a few items that just came into my mind. To start with is the voting for any project that we have done so far. Even in the past, our city has always voted for, even the penny cost, library costs, school costs, etc. Right? As a cost, it's just like penny in worth of money, but the project flex will come at a greater cost to us. It should have been part of our voting system. We still have time. We can postpone it, for a few months. We have November elections, etc. We can vote for it, and at least take the input from people who are gonna actually pay for it. And coming to the water-related issues. So a couple of years back, I think if I'm not wrong, I received a letter saying that hey, we have a new plant, filtration plant, where you will get better water, no more hard water, etc. In few days, I received another letter saying that our plant, is in maintenance now, and continue using your softener systems, etc. until further notice. I never heard back anything. And imagine once we have this, data center, what's gonna happen? How we gonna co-op with the quality of water that we can provide it to the people? In the summertime, we have noticed brown water many times, right? I came to the city a few times and I was told that it's because of the sprinkler system or the demand of the water that we have in the summertime. Now, what will happen after the project flex is here? How are we gonna manage that, right? We have very limited resource. Yeah, we are running on the well water, right? I come from farmer's family, so I know how the well water works. What is our backup when it dries out? Because believe it or not, it will dry out. Thank you.
Robin Hill, lifetime resident. I noticed one board member, planning commission member, apparently didn't think it was important enough to come
Other planning commission members sit there and smirk at the township residents. Others who rumored don't live in the township can't even look at the residents when they talk. This has been approved or conditionally approved by the planning commission, a company that's been in business 2 years. 33 people work for this company. Apparently this commission feels that's sufficient to approve this in one meeting. That's a farce. Got so many things to say, I can't remember them all. There should be a moratorium on this. This planning commission has not done their homework. Not even close. Not even close. Did any of you go to anywhere where there was a data center in operation? No. You took Veris and Walbridge at their word. This was all kept in secret. Called it Project Flex. You didn't publish that it was a data center. This planning commission is a joke. And we're going to recall the whole township board. And when we do, you're all gone too.
They don't care. They'll take their money. Yeah, we're not fresh garbage. Yeah, they ought to do.
Anyone else?
Yeah, we ought to press charges against you guys. We ought to press charges. Should be arrested for what you're doing. Should be arrested for
Hello,
what you're doing.
my name is Kendra. I live in Lyon Township. I moved here 5 years ago, before I knew that this place was going to turn into a huge city. I wanted peace and quiet, and I actually wanted to live in the country. And I got my wish for a year, and then the place started blowing up. And I'm not happy about a ton of people moving here, but people have the right to live where they want to live. But a data center is a different story. Data center, has massive health impacts, has electricity impacts, water impacts, pollution. It impacts our property values. Like, this is way beyond just me not wanting to live in suburbs. Like, this is harmful to every aspect of our lives, and Planning Commission needs to do something to stop this and work on a moratorium, whatever it takes. So.
Thank you.
So, what are your next steps?
We hear some opinions at least.
We're not gonna get to question and answer right now, but anyone else?
They're not going to answer your question. One answers.
New business.
When?
New business, Mike.
Have a
Three.
Q&A with the public. Now's a good time.
Three.
Quit hiding.
Hi. I'm Julia, a concerned Lyon Township resident. Like others, I'm disgusted by the way the township has handled Project Flex in public opposition to it.
The meeting you held on January 22nd was originally listed on your website as a public Q&A. You changed your meeting to a bizarre, performative, paraphrased Q&A led by a moderator from across the state. You've not been transparent about the project from the start. You have stated that the companies Wallbridge and Veris did not seek any zoning exceptions, so no public forum was required. You have said that tentative approval has been granted for the project, yet buildings in the light and industrial zone are not to exceed 100,000 square feet. Yet you approved 6 300,000 square foot buildings for a total of 1.8 million square feet. Time and time again, you have subverted democracy and the voice of the people by failing to hold a public Q&A. Township trustees and appointed board members are sworn to uphold the Michigan and U.S. Constitution. You have a fiduciary responsibility to the trust, the township, and its people. You have a fiduciary responsibility to the township and its residents. You have the moral and legal responsibility to the finances of the township on behalf of its residents.
Explain to them what fiduciary means, because I don't think they know.
You have a responsibility to protect the residents' health, their wells, the air, the soil, and the water in our community. The intent of the township charter, this is right off your website, is to improve and protect the public health, safety, and general welfare of the residents of Lyon Township. To further this intent, these ordinances seek to conserve property values, protect areas from incompatible uses, prevent blight and deterioration, foster compatible relationships among different land users, prevent new construction or alteration of existing structures or uses that do not comply with township ordinances, protect the environment, and protect public infrastructure. That is directly from your website. I think a lot of people feel like Open Meetings Acts might have been violated. A lot of people do not like the veil of secrecy under which business was conducted. I heard at the meeting on January 22nd that this was begun in June. A lot of people, I think, feel that meetings may have been conducted in secret. People do not feel like you're listening to the people. And it is a representative government. It is a democratic republic. And in a democratic republic, officials are elected and officials are appointed to represent the people. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, anyone else? All right, thank you for your comments and concerns. They'll all be taken into consideration. And we're moving on with our meeting now. Thank you so much.
Oh, wait, we got seconds.
We're done.
It's in your bylaws. If it's a non-agenda item, people can speak as many times as they want. Is that correct or not?
No, public comments are closed now.
I'm sorry?
Public comments are closed. We're moving on with the agendas.
No.
Yes, yes.
No. Non-agenda items, you can speak as many times as you want.
We're moving on. Thank you for your comments.
No. No. You gonna have me removed? Go ahead. Bring it on.
Paid.
You wanna do that? Come on.
No, I don't want to do it, but I'd like to continue.
Yeah, go ahead, start talking.
No, not for public
Was
comments.
there a motion?
Not for public
Was
comments.
there a motion to
Not for
close
pub-
it?
No, we're not gonna have an argument with you. You're not helping your cause here at all. All right? So we're moving on. Thank you so much.
Come on, remove me. Come on, talk.
All right.
Remove me.
All right.
Come on.
All right.
Bring me up, bring me up, take me up. Okay?
Robin, it's not worth it.
Can't hear you.
I'm not going.
Someplace.
You guys ought to be charged with stealing our water, our electricity, and our livelihood. You should go to
Good
court.
evening, everyone.
Come on, take me out.
Since the last time that we had the opportunity to meet, I wanted to present you with
Take
some
me out.
additional information. We had the opportunity to print a copy of our DDA calendar of events, so that's available
Take me
on
out.
the table
Take me
outside.
out. Do it.
Don't arrest him, arrest them. Arrest them. You got the
You can
wrong
see
guy.
calendar
They did
events
it.
outside
They
on the
did it.
table.
Yeah.
They did it. Not him.
Come on.
Yeah, well, you're arresting the wrong guy. You should arrest them. They did it, not him.
The calendar of events is also on our website, so please take a look through there. We start with one of our first events that began on the start of February with our forward competition that we are doing in conjunction with Main Street Oakland County. We have 5 participating restaurants this year: Becker's Bar and Grill, Big B New Hudson, Wholehearted Winery, Freshly Fused, and Teresita. So if you get a chance to visit one of those restaurants, you can follow a QR link to vote for their entries. Last year we had over 500 votes through all of the 4 communities participating, so we're looking forward to this event this year again. Please visit those restaurants and cast your vote. We're also in the process of working with McKenna to finalize our 2026 fundraising brochure that should be available in mid-February and start distribution in early March. I had the opportunity to attend the Michigan Retail Conference last week, where we got to meet with local businesses, business owners, developers, retail owners. So we had some good conversations and ideas and networking opportunities at that meeting. We also had the opportunity to attend the Kinwell Senior Living. They did their ribbon cutting in January, so we're happy to welcome them to the township, even though they're outside of the DDA. We had the new social media person from the township attend that and take some photos and post online for us. Right now, our DDA board is working on our accreditation platform through Main Street America, so we'll be getting those submitted by the start of March. And we had our first committee meeting for our Touch a Truck event, which will be hosted by Lowe's again this year on June 24th. For those that are looking to volunteer for the event, please reach out through our Facebook or website. We are looking for a few more committee members. And I believe, unless there are any questions, that concludes my report.
Great, thanks, David.
Thank you.
Hey, I got one question, Amy.
Yep.
How's the road closure going?
The road closure.
Yeah. So
Oh, the road abandonment?
Yeah.
We are in the process of, sorry, feedback. We're in the process of getting a quote for the services to redefine the plat boundaries. So until we get that, we don't have a direction on when we can get the actual circuit court filing submitted. So I will give you an update as we find out. We should get a quote hopefully by the end of the month.
Thanks. What about the closed gas station then? What will happen when, they've got their signs down, they can leave that there as long as they want, or?
If the abandonment goes through, there'll be that allocation of the additional property to the adjoining property owners. And likely in the actual roadway that's being abandoned, there wouldn't be able to be any building because of utility easements, but it could be utilized as potential parking for some future development if that gas station were to either be updated and expanded upon or redone completely. We did have a chance to meet with the owner of that parcel, and they actually met with Oakland County Main Street with a designer there too, and we had some mock-up concepts done up for that, what that parcel could look like in order to maintain its historical preservation along with the new development. So we're just waiting to see what the process is for the actual abandonment, if they're gonna move forward with that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Any other comments? No, we're good, okay, thank you. Brian, if you'd start us off, AP 25-95.
Could you
Duncan.
clarify what road closure you're talking about, please?
The new Hudson Road where our 6 Points corner is, there used to be a stub road that went north and dead-ended where there was a house back there. The house was torn down a few years ago when the DDA created their public parking lot downtown. So with no road, we petitioned the county to abandon that road so that it could be utilized for additional space for the adjoining property owners if they wanted to expand their businesses, create some gateway signage into the entry to the downtown, potential pavilion area. So we're working through the process. The Oakland County Road Commission approved the abandonment, but now we're at the point where the actual circuit court needs to approve it so that the property can be divided up between the adjoining property owners. You're welcome.
Brian, AP 25-95, Duncan Special Land Use. We're going to combine that with the AP 25-95A Duncan Site Plan Review. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The proposal before you this evening is a reuse of the existing building at the corner of Pontiac Trail and Marjorie Ann. It's approximately 2,000 square feet on a little over a half of an acre, and most recently this building was used for the Healthy Urgent Care operation. Previous to that, it was a bank with telling stations and a drive-through. The proposed use of a drive-through restaurant is a special land use in the B2 district. So we have our public hearing scheduled for this evening and site plan review. So we will be asking the Planning Commission to tie the site plan and the special land use review together this evening through conditions if you do choose to take any action. You can review our site plan review letter dated February 3rd. We do have a couple outstanding items noted in that letter, and if you reference the elements in your packet, we do have updates to the updates that have been submitted to address some of these comments. One of the things that we asked for was an update to the gates on the existing trash enclosure on the southeast corner. In reviewing the updated set of plans, the composite gate matches the requirements of the ordinance. We noted that a lighting plan needed to be submitted, which it has. There's a photometric plan included that complies with your ordinance, so that has been addressed. I do note that there is a proposed monument sign along the Pontiac Trail frontage here at the southwest corner of the site, just outside the right-of-way. The ordinance requires a 15-foot setback for monument signs from the right-of-way. So either that sign needs to be removed or a variance sought for the location of that sign. I also noted that signage details for the lane speaker and the menu board on the east side of the drive should be included, and those have been provided also. Lastly, the landscaping plan was called out as deficient on the original submittal, but an updated landscape plan has been submitted and complies with your ordinance. So any of the items that I had mentioned as of my February 3rd review letter have been addressed in the updated plan set, so we have no concerns with that. In terms of the special land use standards of the township's ordinance, you have 9 standards for every special land use, and you can reference our February 3rd, 2026 letter relating to special land use comments. One of the big things that we're looking at for any drive-through use is compatibility with adjacent properties, and to the south is an existing business. To the east, there's a 20-foot wide public alley, and on the other side of that alley is a residence. And you can see from this is a fairly current aerial. There's a significant tree stand, and there is a solid masonry retaining wall that separates the proposed site from the adjacent, or semi-adjacent, I'll call it, separated by an alley residential property. So those meet our separation standards. So I don't have concern with compatibility with adjacent uses. I believe that all of the other 8 criteria can be supported, and so it would be our recommendation to approve the site plan, and that would be conditioned upon a approval of the special land use from the township board. Your action on the special land use would be a recommendation. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Brian. Questions?
Not this time.
I have no concerns regarding the
you like me to comment on the site plan? at this
Please,
time?
yes.
Okay, so I'd like to reference our January 12th letter in your packet. There is public water main available to the property. Hydrant coverage would be evaluated during the engineering review process. The applicant should be aware that additional hydrants may be required on site. The site is served by public sanitary sewer. There's a low pressure force main and an existing grinder pump on site. Due to the change of use to a restaurant, the applicant will be required to install a minimum 1,000-gallon grease interceptor on the exterior of the building, which that can be documented in the detailed engineering plan. And should the planning commission approve the site plan and special land use with conditions, a detailed engineering review will be required with from the applicant. And I also wanted to note that the sanitary sewer capital charges may increase since the use was previously medical and is going to restaurant. So that would also be evaluated during engineering review, and additional fees may be required. Those are my comments.
Questions for Leslie? Deborah, did you have anything?
No, thank you.
Okay, applicant, could you give name and address?
Sure. Marcia Horning, I'm with Jeffrey Scott Architects, 32316 Grand River in Farmington. And we'll just bring this up here. So, like Brian said, we are reutilizing the existing building at the corner of Marjorie Ann and Pontiac Trail, and modifying it slightly to look more like a Dunkin'. Here's a photo of the existing building. It kept the when it became urgent care, the canopy for the drive-through stayed. We're planning on removing that. It was, I believe, looked like a 2-lane drive-through. We're planning on just a single. Let's go to the floor plan. Or the site plan, sorry. So basically, we're keeping the drive-through in the exact location that it was for the bank. It was, abandoned, but it's pretty much in the same location that it was. It actually gets smaller. The traffic on site moves the same way that it would have for the bank. It's really a circular motion. We're lucky enough to have a bypass lane all around. We're at menu board right in speaker right now is at like the 6th car from the window, which is perfect for Dunkin' speed of service. And we look to get about 90 seconds per transaction. That's the goal. So, and the hours, like largely busy hours, are from 6 to 10 a.m., 7 to 10 a.m. That's the majority of the time. There is an all-day business. Typically, the hours are 5 or 6 to around 10, sometimes earlier. For the elevations. As Brian said, we got the review letter on Tuesday. We responded on Friday, basically answering all the comments and providing the landscape plan. And we're excited to, make it look a little better. It's pretty barren right now. We are coming back with new landscaping. So we cut off the drive-through canopy and basically put a monolith over the drive-through window just to announce that it's the drive-through. There'll be canopy over that and Dunkin' signage just on that side in the front. Otherwise, the building stays pretty much as is. The brick remains. Yeah, we're adding windows in the front just to give more light on the inside for our dining room. And if we can answer any other questions, we'd be happy to.
Thank you. Thank you, Marcia. Questions?
Yeah. I'm gonna start off with the vestibule. Is
Sure.
that gonna stay?
We'll go to the floor plan. Not right now, no. We don't have that as staying. If you can see on here, we have that as, it kind of remains, it's not an enclosed vestibule. We take the second door off of it. And really, that's just an entry area.
I was a little confused with that. Could you go over to the drawing and point that out for me?
Sure.
Please.
So, we're keeping the normal entry door, and then we're removing the vestibule that would be in here. We have
a wall here that.
Okay.
Full height wall there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it acts as a windbreak, really, for
Right,
that
and
door.
that's what you're after. I remember
Exactly.
when it was the bank, you know, before they closed the two Bank of Americas up
Yeah.
here, and that was, you know, it was a nice feature having that there.
Yeah, that full height wall will act as a windbreak, and then, as you kind of enter into the site, that's where, or into the space, there's dining, and then, full, you know, it's the new, I don't know if anybody's been to the new Dunkin's, but there's a tap system for cold brew, there's, donuts facing you now, so it's a little bit, it's a really nice new look, very modern looking, very bright.
So next question would be on the parking.
Yes.
Are you or are you not gonna designate areas for the mobile orders?
Typically we do not,
Okay, so
Yeah.
I can get a commitment that you're not going to.
if that's
Okay.
your wish, yes,
Well, I
that
mean,
would be
it's a
fine.
good site, there's good parking
Yeah.
on it, but the minute you start trying to put a mobile order where you can only park for a mobile order, then, excuse me. Excuse me.
The franchisee that's going to run this typically does not designate mobile on the go pickups, stalls, just for the fact that we wanna make sure everybody can park.
Yeah, and then, did you talk about, on your, new letter, we didn't get a chance to see that before the meeting.
Yeah.
Are you gonna remove the monument sign? Or
I
move it closer?
I don't want it to cause any stir, so we'll take off the monument sign. We're so close to the road anyway that I think the two signs that we have will be fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, that's all I have.
Yep.
Okay, thanks, Carl. Anyone else? You're keeping the existing shingles or roof?
It's the existing roof, I mean, of course, we're gonna look at it to see if they need to be changed. But yeah, we're keeping the existing hip roof. Can you go to the elevations? Yeah, we're keeping the existing, basic structure of the roof.
Which is?
The shingles, yeah, it will be shingles.
Any other questions? Cameron? No, you guys good? You good? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Don't go far. I mean, have a seat, but don't go far.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, have a seat, but don't
Yep.
leave.
No
Okay.
problem, thank
All right.
you.
Okay, we're gonna open up public hearing for the Duncan. If anyone would like to come up, name and address. Thank you.
I just heard about this tonight, but have you considered that Sayre Elementary is on Marjorie Ann Street, and that's the main drag going in and out to Sayre Elementary? So if their busy hours are from 6 to 10, and drop off with with latchkey before is anywhere from 7:30 to then 8:30, with also the backup on Pontiac Trail because of Centennial and Millennium at that time, is that taken into consideration?
Yeah, actually, the township worked really hard along with South Line to put that light in for that school.
Right.
And we paved all the sidewalk in front
Yeah.
to make sure it was ingress and egress out for the kids,
Yeah.
to make them safe. So
Yeah.
I'm very confident that it is gonna be safe.
Oh, no, I'm not worried about safety, I'm worried about the traffic.
I'm not worried, I personally am not worried about the traffic.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought
Okay.
about it.
Well,
real
then I
hard.
feel much better.
I mean, you wanna hear the rest of my comment on it? Yeah, so, I remember when it was a Bank of America, and even the traffic there, you couldn't get in and out, but it flows so nice right now with that light, it makes it so much easier. There's less problem. I digress.
Thanks, Carl.
I second the motion to have a traffic study, not your feelings considered. Let's look at the facts before just approving something, please. Traffic, it's a problem. I drive it every day to take my middle schooler. I'll take you with me, Carl. We'll see how shitty the traffic is in the
I
morning.
know it's
during the
terrible when
same
the
time.
middle school gets out, I'm not denying that.
And when was your busy hours, I'm sorry? 6 to 10 during the school drop-off period. Really? Please consider it.
Any other comments? 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're closing the public hearing, thank you. All right, back to the commission.
to take that place there. I think it's a good fit. Dunkin's is a good brand. With that light there, I don't think we'll have any problems. So I'd make a recommendation to approve. It meets all 9 criteria for the special land use. It doesn't require, I mean, I can defer to our engineer, it doesn't require Leslie, a traffic study, correct?
No, you can request one if you feel it's necessary.
Necessary.
All right, so you're recommending approval for special land use, is that correct? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, contingent upon the site plan, so that would be a motion to the board to approve the special land use, which is AP-25-95B, special land use for Dunkin' Donuts. That'd be contingent upon us approving the site plan.
Okay. Well, we have a motion.
I'll support.
Okay, any other comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, let's go next to Duncan site plan review, AP 25-95A.
Architecturally, what do you think, Mike? On the, what score did you give him on the architecture? I mean, it's hard for me to look at the new signage for Dunkin', you know? I'm still used to it being Dunkin' Donuts. But I think the building looks fine.
Yeah, it's a passing score without the
Nothing,
subjective
yeah, nothing.
composition. Yep.
Would you add anything, or do you like the way it is? Say it now or forever hold your peace. I'm fine with it.
You good, Ryan?
I'm fine with it. The facade.
Good.
If that's the case, I'd make a motion to approve the site plan, AP-25-95A Duncan site plan. I'd make, well, that's our approval on the site plan, so that'd be my motion.
Brian,
That'd be contingent upon the board approving the special land use.
and you said they still had new landscaping? Or their new plan had the right landscaping?
It does, yes.
Okay.
Complies.
That'd be my motion.
Support. Very good, Cheryl. Who supported?
I did.
Okay. Any other comments? No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, congratulations. Good, thank you. All right, next, AP 25-78 Lyon Plaza site plan amendment. McKenna.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The request before you is an amendment to an already approved site plan on outlot, well, it's lot 34 of Lyon Town Center. I'm sorry, the Lyon Crossing PD on Grand River, just east of the Zeo Credit Union. The last time the Planning Commission saw this project, it was proposed as a 2-story structure with a variety of space mixed between office and commercial. There was a drive-through incorporated in that project originally. However, we have received the request to amend that site plan, and the changes encompass going down to a single story. Now the square footage will be just under 15,000 square feet. Right now on the plans it's shown as broken into 8 tenants, but as is typical with strip centers, they can be flexible in configuration, so it could accommodate up to 8 tenants. We got 2 reviews for your consideration, one dated December 17th and one dated February 5th. You'll note that the project, let me pull up the plans a sec. project does not include a drive-through anymore. It's a pretty typical circulation pattern around the building. Parking in the front, parking along the west side, and connections to the existing drive lanes that are to the west to Zeal, both at the northwest corner and the southwest corner. There's also a connection with a cross access easement to the east. So if you can follow my cursor following there, not quite. At the southeast corner, there's a driveway that would connect out to the existing driveway to Grand River Avenue. So until that farther east parcel gets constructed, there would be a driveway, a compliant driveway installed on that parcel and over into the subject parcel that we're talking about. The uses that could go into this building vary. This is zoned as a PD, the planned unit development that largely follows the B2 district. So these are service-oriented things. They could be service, they could be business, they could be retail, they could be restaurants. Those are the types of things that are permitted and expected in a building such as this. All of our comments from the December 17th letter have been addressed. I want to show you the architecture, and I know Mital, the owner of the property, is here this evening and can show this also, but the building will largely match the materials of Zeal, so we have no concerns there. I do have a couple notes on our architectural evaluation. Because this plan development has some architectural standards, those are things that need to be achieved on any of the drawings. And the piece that I've noted here is on the side and the rear elevations of the building. The PD architectural requirements call for a 10-foot minimum grade for cementitious siding to be installed. So as it's shown in the west and the east elevation and the north elevation, there's a base course of CMU, concrete masonry units as the base, and then everything you see above that is essentially a hardy board siding to comply with the architectural standards of the PD. That masonry block or brick needs to reach at least 10 feet above the grade.
Brian, can I interrupt? We actually changed it so that it's LP smart siding, just to take away that entire cementous thing, because the ordinance haven't kept up with like the newer materials and that, and so then it's the same material that the apartments that have it, and then my PowerPoint is not loaded, but if that was loaded, you would kind of see it a little bit better.
Yeah, we can show the updated drawings for sure.
Thank you.
So, other than that, the architectural evaluation, we believe that the plan is compliant. I can take any questions that you might have. This is a site plan amendment. So your action as the planning commission would be an approval, and then this project could move on to detailed engineering.
Okay, thanks, Brian. Questions?
We'll hold off until the presentation.
Could you tell us again about the entrance and exit onto Grand River?
So this project, or this site is right in the middle. I'll stand up by the board so everybody can see. Zeal Credit Union is right on the corner of Lyon Center Drive and Grand River. The new project would go on the property in the middle. And its driveway is actually using the existing ingress and egress that is, the acceleration and deceleration lanes are already on the side of Grand River Avenue. So access to this property is either through that and over to the west, or there's also a cross-access easement through the Zeal Credit Union site to allow access. So anyone using this building is going to enter using the existing driveways that are already there today.
So there's no limits on left turn on either?
There are not, no.
All right, thank you. Leslie?
Thank you.
I'd like to reference our November 19th review letter in your packet. The applicant's design engineer did make plan modifications, which we received late last week. However, we have not been able to formally complete our review assignment. But the concerns are the same from the two reviews. The two outstanding items that we have from engineering is that the water and sewer connections have to be made in the front yard for the ordinance. And those would need to be addressed. If the planning commission is inclined to approve the project with conditions, those would be two of the engineering conditions in referencing our November 19th letter. The stormwater is managed at a regional basin for this condominium. And that's it.
Okay, questions?
I'm gonna have to go to the hard copy, because I can't seem to pull up that letter on the internet. So thank goodness we got a hard copy. But go ahead.
Okay. All set. Applicant, name and address, please.
Yes, thank you for taking the time to hear me out. My name is Mita Lamin. I'm one of the co-owners of this project. And we shrunk it due to market demand from 2-story to 1-story, and then kind of made the suite smaller. With the engineering, we actually did update it so that we do have the sewer connections in the front. Originally, we had it in the back because there was already a sewer line that runs in the back, so it would have been more convenient to connect from the back. But we did take into consideration, because we had gotten these guys' comments about like a little over a month ago, so we updated it to meet their requirements. This is the site plan overview with it, and then we just And so then we just did some elevations. We wanted to build something really beautiful. We went above and beyond with the architectural standards. The front is over, I believe, over 68% brick and stone. And this is looking at the southeast perspective. And then this is looking at it on the opposite side. You see that in the front elevation, it's kind of cut a little bit diagonally because there's some utility easements that kind of run diagonally in that building. And then we have, this would be the front elevation. So we took into account to add in some lighter materials, so that lighter color is also brick with some darker materials. And then there is wood look metal siding on there with the planks, kind of like if you went to Zeal Bank and if you go to the door, they have cedar colored wood look. And then this is looking at the side, the end cap, which we think would be maybe a fast food restaurant there. And then this would be the side of a physical therapy office. We're looking at some allied medical practices in there, along with some retail. And then this would be the rear. And then we did change the material, like I stated earlier, from a ephes or a cement board to engineered wood composite. And then this is the specifics of the materials that we're using for the facade. Any questions?
Okay, thank you. Questions?
Yeah, I have a couple. I'm gonna start off with, I'm disappointed that it's not a 2-story building. I'm disappointed that it's 8 small building or square footage. What deterred you to go away from that on your second bite of the apple?
Lack of demand. We didn't have enough to be able to fill it.
So with that, I'm worried that even that you're gonna fill this.
We have enough for medical service related, but what a lot of the restaurants were just moving towards something smaller with the footprint, with DoorDash and that, so we just couldn't do the drive-through, and we couldn't justify putting a drive-through with a restaurant that's less than 2,000 square feet.
Yeah. I don't like it, and it's gonna be a no vote for me, so.
Any other comments? Joe?
Yeah, I do have a question. Do you have any other establishments that you currently have built like this?
We have medical practices.
Where would they be located?
Rochester.
Just curious, I'd like to kind of see a finished product. I mean, I can see this. I was wondering if there was something out there. You say you have something in Rochester?
Yeah, well, we have partnerships, and then we were also a partner in we have off of Southfield, the T12 medical building, which used to be a bank with it, so we have partners, so this would be one of the smaller buildings that we've done with it, but right now, after COVID, a lot of the things have changed in the market, and so for us, bigger doesn't make sense with it, and then market rent and lease properties have not kept up with what it costs to build with it, so we couldn't technically do a 2-story building if we couldn't even fill, 50% of it.
Okay, thank you.
If memory serves me, you're running one of the offices, correct?
Yes, we are gonna be taking the PT space.
How many suites, of the 8 suites do you have filled?
With it,
Or
well,
commitments for?
we have non-binding letters of intent from interest with PT, then we have podiatry, we have a dental practice. We have 2 potential restaurants that are looking. I think Little Caesars and Domino's are both looking at that end cap.
So only one of those will fill. They're not gonna fill next to each other. Most likely.
We would have exclusive uses, so we're not gonna put 2 pizza places in there. It would just be one or the other.
So today you have two tenants, which you're gonna be part of both, right? And then you have 2 other potential commitments?
We have non-binding letters with podiatry, dental. We have a binding letter from physical therapy, of course, because that's our practice.
Correct.
With it. And then the rest of it would either be retail or with other services, because right now with the residents, they usually have to drive to Novi or Lyon Township or Brighton to get some of these services. And so we feel like we have enough interest to be able to move forward with this project at this scale.
Which services do they have to drive that far to get? And I ask that because, there's 3 or 4 dental offices within 5 minutes of this building.
We're talking about like the physical therapy practice, okay. And I don't know about dental other than that was somebody that was interested. And
that was my concern, is the need. I don't see anything in writing that the need is there for those small spaces. I just don't.
Well, if that's, what they're able to take, because with the medical practices, a lot of them have gotten smaller just because of reimbursement rates.
Yeah, well, I'll just be honest with you, I'm also concerned that the smaller areas that you end up with vape shops and things of that nature.
Well, we're not going to do vape shops. We want to try to do like a health and wellness kind of theme is what we're looking to do. And each of the tenants, they usually get individual approval with it within like the PUD as well. Because there's also restrictions with that, and then it, falls under, we actually have some stricter rules that we fall under as to what we can and cannot put there.
I'm glad you brought that up, Brian, offhand. Is there any, there used to be a amount of square footage in that PD. I remember even when the oil change place went in, for example, there has to be a certain square footage, doesn't there? In that PUD? And I don't expect you to get it off the top of your head. But
let me take a look. I've got the.
It just bothers me that they're so small, and you came back. I was kind of excited the first time you came before us.
that would
Yeah.
make two of us,
Yeah.
but market reality is what it is. And then the other thing is with, the building size, a lot of it is dictated on the parking lot with it. So originally we had most of the medical upstairs and then some of the retail and restaurant downstairs.
Right.
But then when we talked to some of the medical, we actually needed more parking than what's required with it, because most of the medical spaces, they usually end up needing more spaces than what's the minimum. And so then we felt like it was better to have more parking than less parking and then having issues.
I get your way of thinking, I really do, but it just doesn't set right with me.
Carl, the size distinctions that are in the PD are specific to the architectural controls, not necessarily individual units.
Okay.
And, you know, it's designed in such a way that they're not separated, right? So if somebody wants to say, hey, instead of the 2,000 square feet, we want to take 4,000, they can, because the entire footprint is still pretty significant, because it's 14,000 some square feet. We expanded it to as much as we can, given our, we have to have the setbacks within it. So then within the one floor, we did what we could with it. And like I said, the only reason that it's cut is because of that. And when you take into account upstairs, we had to have the lobbies, you had to have the connecting hallways and all of that. So actually, when you look at our original plan as to what would have been leasable, this only dropped by about 3,000 square feet in terms of usable space. Because now you don't have shared hallways, you don't have an elevator lobby to go upstairs, and all of the suites are individual. They have their front entrance and then the exits.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't recall if you had an elevator.
Well,
on that
yes,
last
we
one. You
did.
didn't have.
Yeah, we did.
Did you?
Yeah, because you can't do medical suites upstairs without a elevator and lobby and handicaps areas, and then, 5-foot shared hallways and all of that with it.
I just know that in King Plaza, I think it's called King Plaza, that's gonna be next to that Dunkin' Donuts there, that area. You go into the barber shop or any of the stores there, and you can hear the dogs barking, or, they're just too close comfort for me. I think we deserve better for that spot. That's a high spot, it's a high traffic area. I just think we could do better.
Okay,
Than
well,
small little shops.
they are fairly standard with the 20-foot bays, which is standard with retail shops.
Yeah.
Right, oh, Kurt?
Carl did a fine job for me.
Pardon?
I said Carl did a fine job with a lot of the comments I would have had.
Kurt?
Yeah, I'm struggling with
Well, I just don't see the need, and mine would be, but I don't see the need. But I'm only one vote.
How many bays would you need for the 3 medical offices?
They have, well, it depends on the size, right? So some of them can be combined. For us, we're taking about 2.
You're taking 2 of the suites?
Yes.
How many bays do you need?
Well, we have because we're on that diagonal, that's why we're taking 2 of the bays. So we're taking maybe about.
How many parking spots would you need for your suite? My concern is, if you're telling me the medical device has a larger need, or the medical part needs a larger need for parking, and the rest is potentially restaurants or whatever, I just don't, Brian, is there enough parking if half of that's restaurants?
Well, it wouldn't be half restaurant. We would just have the end
Single
cap.
restaurant?
There's only one, yeah.
And the rest would be some sort of retail?
Would be retail and office, yes. And then there is codes that determine what kind of tenant can go in there based on the parking needs.
Yeah, so what would happen in reality, and it's the way that we deal with any of the multi-tenant units, is when each individual tenant wants to begin operation, they'll fill out an admin review, everybody will review it. One of the things that I'll look at is parking demand for the entire strip. So in reality, the restaurant won't be able to be too large because the the parking is gonna be allocated to the other uses that are in there. The reality is the entire thing can't be a restaurant. There's not enough parking to accommodate a full restaurant for the full 15,000 square feet.
I still see it as a spec building.
It is, yeah, we're gonna have to evaluate every tenant individually. So I think that's the thing to keep in mind is that the building is permitted whether it's the two-story or the single-story, and then the individual uses are where we'll vet the process.
So the restaurants are gonna be takeout, basically, is what you're telling us now?
Well, it depends on what they want, right? So like even if something like a Qdoba wanted to go in there, it could with it, but just depends on what the interest is. And to give you an idea, the lot next to us with the Zeal is about the same size as ours, and the Zeal building is about 3,000 square feet. And we're at almost 15,000 square feet. So I don't feel that it's too small by any means.
I'd feel more comfortable if you had committed uses to it.
You can't get committed uses. It's kind of a catch-22 unless you have something built. Legally, you
But to
can't.
Carl's point, there's so many empty businesses between here and, where Carl was talking about the King Plaza. There's so many times you find empty businesses sitting there. I just don't want this to become an eyesore.
Or the new Hudson Pharmacy area.
Yeah.
Strip mall there is not even filled. We've got 3 empty, or 4 empty stores at where the new Hudson Pharmacy used to be.
I wouldn't want it to sit empty either because of the amount of property taxes we'd be paying for an empty building.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how, besides need, Brian, that I can expound upon that, I know it's a permitted use. I can't pull up your marked up letter even on some of the engineering stuff.
It's really just utility connections.
Yeah,
for us.
just utility. Yeah.
But that could be the same issue with a two-story, whether it's only two.
Well, I was hoping that they'd have the two-story, and then you've got a restaurant, or, that you can have on one corner. I mean, she sold me on that when she first came before us, and I just don't like this. I don't like what it entails. I think we have a lot of empty storefronts in the New Hudson area, and I'd hate to see another spec building just sitting there.
Well, and we'd be more likely to have it empty if it was double the size compared to, that was one of the reasons that
Well, I mean, I just said it was
did it have.
disappointed that it wasn't two-story. You could put, maybe some apartments, some condos up there. I mean, there's all kinds of speculative stuff. You go to these other cities and you see that, where you've got living up above and retail down below.
There wouldn't be enough parking for us to do apartments up on top.
Yeah.
All right, well, we can approve, deny, or table, correct?
Yes,
No.
or approve with conditions is your
With
fourth option.
conditions.
Yes.
And what would those conditions be? That you would be satisfied with?
I'm voting against it. I don't think there's a need for it, and that's my contention.
One of the things with a permitted use, we don't have a standard for, do we need it? The standards are the dimensional elements of the project met? Are we meeting all the architectural standards of landscape and lighting, all those sorts of things? So I continue to say it's my recommendation for the site plan to approve it as a permitted use. And then the individual tenants will vet as they go along.
Okay, well, that's something we have to split vote. All right, well, we'll still need a motion. Who's gonna step up?
It's basically telling you and telling us, and everything in this literature says, it's zoning again that says you gotta pass it. And, unless there's a condition that you wanna change, we can change some of this. If we wanna say, let's eliminate 2 of the small footage in there, I mean, we have a right to change that. that we want larger storefronts, correct?
I mean, we don't have a minimum size for the storefronts
So
within
that's out the window too.
facility. Correct.
If we tabled it, could you have more letters of commitment for some of the
I
other
cannot,
spaces?
unless something is built legally, I can't have non-binding letters of intent.
You know, and again, you know, we totally wish you luck. I mean, and bring the best of the best. It's just, it's hard to swallow. It's hard to swallow. You're gonna have to prove it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job.
You're prepared, I'll make a motion. If that's what you're asking.
Yes.
Can we say you don't want any little
All right, I'll make a
pieces?
motion, AP 25-78. The site plan amendment be put forth based on the information contained in the January 12th CES letter, as well as the McKenna letter dated February 5th, 2026.
My letter was dated November 19th.
I'm sorry. Correction then, November 19th.
But it's gonna be conditional though upon meeting all the criteria in the CES letter.
That is correct.
Correct, yeah. All right.
Mr. Chairman, can Mr. Chuck repeat that again, please? I want to make sure I understand.
All right. I'll start with AP 25-78. The site plan amendment be moved forward based on the letter from CVS, November 19th, as well as the letter from McKenna dated February 5th, 2026, along with the contingency recommendations noted in the McKenna letter as to the changes.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, motion.
Support.
Motion support. Any other comments before we vote? Kelly, you do individual roll. This is for approval.
Jim Chuck,
Yes.
Michael Complete,
Yes.
Patricia Carponi,
Yes.
Ron Guzkowski,
Yes.
Carl Tom,
No.
Kurt Rafferty.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Wish you luck.
All right, AP 25-96, Nortec Edition Site Plan Review, McKenna. You're up.
Okay. Thank you. Your last item of business this evening is I proposed just under 15,000 square foot addition to an existing building. The Nortec operation does metal fabrication, assorted industrial operations associated with fabrication and metalwork. The site is at the northern end of Research Drive, and you can see from the aerial it's it's separated from the Huron Valley Trail from the back of the Chevrolet dealer. So we're talking just to the east of the Ring Road, north of Grand River. The overall site is just over 3.3 acres. It's zoned I-1 industrial light industrial district. The proposed addition is going to be on the back side of the building where the existing lawn panel sits. You can see the size and scale of the building in relation to the site. None of the on-site parking is going to be impacted. The existing truck well will remain accessible along the north side of the proposed addition. In terms of the architectural evaluation, none of our criteria apply because it's on the back half of the building. Our only ask with this is to ensure that the materials on the exterior match the materials of the existing building. All the other components of the site plan comply with our ordinance, photometric plans, landscape plans, parking and circulation requirements, things like that. So you can see in our letter dated February 4th that we are supportive of the project. We believe it meets your ordinance. And with the verification of the building material, we believe that it's appropriate for the Planning Commission to approve this change. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Questions for Brian?
Not at this time.
Not at this time.
Okay.
All right, thank you. I'd like to refer to our January 26th review letter. Currently, the building is served by well and septic. The proposed expansion would impact the existing well, and if abandoned, the evidence of the proper abandonment would have to be supplied to the Township Building Department. At this point, I'm assuming the applicant proposes to connect to public water, which is available to the site, and therefore, which is available for them. And they would just be required to go through the water connection process, pay the capital charges, et cetera. And the stormwater management was already handled through a regional basin. So we're recommending approval with conditions. If the project is approved, a detailed engineering review would also be required. And that concludes my letter.
Thank you. Questions?
Thank you.
Carl?
So, yeah, it's a good review on it. I mean, the first thing I went out to the site, I'm going, hey, there's a well there. So, you know, sanitarian's gonna have to either approve one or, like you said, hook up, and I'm sure the applicant will do that. My question before the applicant gets up here, because he might be able to answer it as well, and the fire letter didn't answer it, is the gas tank that's on the property. I assume that it's been, I think you gotta check it yearly, and also the fire department asked for MSDS sheets.
So what was your question about the gas tank?
How far it has to be from the building, because now it's gonna be closer to the building.
We'll take a look at that.
And then I'll have to find out exactly, because I know there's different things that they use for welding. I don't know what gas they're using, so I'm hopefully they're gonna tell us what's in there. It's probably not on your radar, but I wanna know. And then, I'll save the rest for the applicant.
Do I get back to you?
Yeah,
Okay.
please.
All right. Very good.
I'm good. Ready?
Okay, applicant. Name and address, please.
Neil Gansone of Rand Construction. We're at 1270 Rickett Road in Brighton. Yeah, so this is a, original building was in 1998. I think they did the first addition off to the north side about 2 years later, and this back addition was planned from the very beginning as a phase 3 component, so that's why everything was graded properly on the grass area. That the whole area was left specifically for this. The detention pond specifically has the right capacity for this total impervious area. The only thing that we're gonna affect is covering up that well area. So the 2000 plan showed it tapping into water, and right now the well goes underneath the building and back up into the building. So the 2000 addition already was prepped for future water. So that's the main thing. We're gonna decommission that well, tap into the domestic water, and then also through the fire marshal's review, we are going to be adding a new fire hydrant on the north side to the required hose length. So that's already been responded back to and from the.
You got that, Kelly? Got that, Chief?
Yeah, so as far as the gas, yeah, it is the welding gas that they use. I know that we are in compliance with where it sits right now. We can get back to you on.
Right, but once you build that building, it's a lot closer to that building.
Sure, I'm pretty sure you can build up right next to it with the.
So if it's not, you're gonna have to move that.
We would, yeah.
Okay, and what kind of gas is it?
I can get back to you on it. I'm not gonna speak out of turn. No.
I think those details, if the planning commission takes actions and approves the site with conditions, they're not indicated on the plans. So that has to be clarified so that it can go back through a fire review.
Sure, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, I do. So in order to develop with the more square footage, the parking on the back, and I'm sorry, I don't know if the owner's here or not, but it's a mess. There's so much terrible storage, I could show you pictures, it's the worst site in that industrial area.
That's why we're building an addition to put everything.
That would be a condition that it's all cleaned up. They've got 3 semi-trailers back there, they've got, I go on and on. There wouldn't be room. That's not a clean, that site looks good there. I mean, it's terrible, so it's gotta be cleaned up completely before even those parking lots or parking spots are available.
Yeah, I mean, the addition.
So that would be a condition of approval as well.
Yep, the addition was specifically to house those things inside, and that's, the addition is overdue to be able to put that stuff inside.
And also, I think in Brian's letter, you talked about the material being used on the building. Do you agree with that?
Oh, yeah, it's planned to match the existing.
Okay, so on that building as well, the existing original building, that steel is deteriorating. That siding is ready to go.
There's some siding that has rust on it from the sprinkler system.
Is that what it is?
So it's.
I didn't get up there.
It is all on the well, so that's what the well water is spraying on that side.
Okay.
We could look into
Good.
trying to clean it as best we know.
All right, good. So you inspected that, and that's good. Okay, good. Good answer. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thanks, Carl. Any other questions?
No, I went over there too, it's a mess.
Yeah.
Definitely a mess.
That's what we plan to put it all inside. That's the hope of the new addition.
Well, I'm glad they're staying the way it's standing. I can't give accolades to the owner because they're not here.
They're bursting at the seams on the inside, so there's no room on the inside to put anything. So.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Back to the commission. Any other comments or discussion? We have a motion.
Come on, yeah, Kurt.
Make a motion to approve AP-25-96, North Tech Edition, based on the comments, CES, and the letter dated 1/26/26, and McKenna's letter dated 2/4/26. Conditional, the issue of the fire hydrant, that has to be approved by fire chief.
No, it's gonna be in the final plans. That'll have to be in the final.
Addressed on the final
Right.
site plans with another fire department review.
So there's no issue with that then?
In the storage tank, right?
Yep.
And then the site getting cleaned up,
And you work correct, and the gas tank,
and the gas tank's got it.
I'll put on the plan and meet the state law.
Did we miss any conditions?
Okay, good, thank you.
Support.
Motion support. Any other comments?
Aye.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, good, congratulations. All right. Patricia, do you have anything for us?
Yeah. We had our regular board meeting on Monday, February 2nd, and we did have 38 people comment on the data center to our call to the public, and all those were noted and taken into consideration. We had, let's see here, we had no unfinished business. Under new business, we had the consideration and approval for the Miller's Landscaping and Supply Special Land Use, which was approved by the Township Board, which was on our board meeting, the meeting before. And they are they're not sure if they're gonna have that propane tank yet or not. They're gonna address that. So, then we had consideration and approval for the Devonshire PD, minor PD amendment. Remember, that was just the different kind of housing. Remember, they wanted more of the farmhouse look. And they approved that. They also had consideration and the approval of ordinance. It's the amendment for the conditional uses in the wellhead protection overlay. They upheld the opinion of the planning commission and denied that. So everything still will come to the planning commission in the wellhead protection.
whether that's change of ownership or user but the board considered what the planning commission wishes were, and they upheld that, so they denied that. They had the consideration and the approval of ordinance to amend the Article 16 for the signs. Remember, that was above the entrance to allow the signage up there, and they did approve that. And remember, that was the first reading. That'll come back for second readings. And then they did have the consideration and approval of Oakland County P25. It's the system, the interlocal government. It was an agreement between basically the fire department and the township. And they gave approval for the township supervisor to execute it, sign it. But it had to do with their radios. And so the radios came first and then the agreement. So it was the county's agreement. So they did accept that, but they've already received all the radios on that. So that's my whole Monday night meeting.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I have one. We had a resident talk about, she lives on Lee Road, I think it was Erica Schott, I'm not sure if I had the last name right. Ryan, can we review the lighting for the Coke? The Coca-Cola facility?
Oh yeah, I had a note for that, they asked.
Make sure they're within what their requirements are.
If you'd like to see a picture, I have one with a timestamp.
I believe you, it's up to them, the zoning officers to review it and make them correct it if it's out of scope.
I'll work with Mark and we'll make sure.
Thank you.
That's all I have. Thanks, Brian. Nothing else?
Motion to adjourn.
Support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Thank
Did I get your last name right?
Yes, shot.
Just making sure.
The lighting.
Coca-Cola.
Right. They're not manufactured. No, right.
Just warehouse.
That's what I thought. Oh, see it.
That's at 12:30 a.m. I mean, when you drive by, it looks like it's,
Well, we only meet once a month on Saturday.
it's a lot of fun. Sure. I'd be glad to talk to you through our county website. Oh, I'll find it. If you go to a notification, thanks. So you can, if it gets posted, you can check it out and see if it's been put on the agenda. No problem.
The whole board. John makes a recommendation.